Welcome. We would like to begin a review of problems that could appear on a first test in introductory algebra. And the first were to perform the indicated operation, and you see we have 3.4 subtract a negative 4.9. And this is a subtraction problem, so we just rewrite the first number, 3.4, and then add the opposite of the second number, which would make that a positive 4.9, and then just add those two together. And 9 plus 4 is 13, so you could write down the 3 and carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, and the decimal point goes in between, and we get a positive 8.3. The next problem has a number of negative and positive numbers and some addition and some subtraction. So let's rewrite and change all subtractions to additions. So first we just write negative 5, that's just a negative 5, plus 2, and there's our first subtraction. So let's change that to plus a negative 3, and then plus negative 4, not a subtraction there, just plus negative 4. And then the next one is a subtraction, so we're going to rewrite that as add, and the opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. Okay, now let's group all of the negative numbers together, all those sums together, and so we have negative 5, and you see negative 3 up there, so plus negative 3, and then plus negative 4. Those are all of our negative numbers added together, and then let's add our positive numbers together. Let's group them, and all I see there is a 2 and an 8, so we're just going to put 2 plus 8 in that grouping. And then to add the first together, 9 or 5 and 3 is 8 and 4 is 12, and they're all negative, so that gives us negative 12 to add up that first group. The second group is a positive 10, and so now we have negative 12 plus 10. The signs are different. We're going to subtract and take the sign of the larger, and we get negative 2. The next problem is a multiplication, and it is a multiplication of a positive number times a negative number, so the signs are different, and in multiplication, if the signs are different, we will get a negative number, and in this case it's 12 times 4 is 48 and negative 48. The next problem is a division with two fractions, and so we would like to change that to a multiplication of the multiplicative inverse of the second number. So the first number is just the same. We write that first factor as negative 2/3, change it to a multiplication, and then the second number, let me fix this up here. I can undo that, I believe, yeah. Okay, and then we're going to multiply by the multiplicative inverse of negative 3/4, and if you remember, all we do is just flip that upside down. It's the reciprocal, and so it will be still negative, but 4 over 3, and that's done. Now we're going to multiply two numbers that have the same sign, so we'll get a positive number, and 2 times 4 is 8. We just multiply the numerators together, so it's going to be positive 8, and then multiply the denominators together, and 3 times 3 is 9. And we really don't need to put the plus sign in there. We know that if there's not any sign, it's assumed to be positive. The next problem rather, is a multiplication problem of mixed numbers, so we need to change those into improper fractions, and so let's do that. So let's take the first one, and it'll still be negative, of course, and then 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7, so we put the 7 up in the numerator, and the denominator stays 4. We don't make a change with that. And for the second factor, let's rewrite that. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19, and still 5 for the denominator. And then we have a positive times a negative, different sign, so we're going to get a negative product and multiply the numerators together, and I believe you get 133. 7 times 19 is 133, and 4 times 5 is 20. And we can just leave our answer as an improper. The next problem is a division, and we can just use what we know about multiplication. We're going to get a negative number because we have different signs, and 70 divided by 10 is 7. So the answer is simply equal to negative 7. In the next problem we have, we need to use the order of operations. I see a subtraction problem, and I also see within parentheses another subtraction problem. So we do within the parentheses first, and 3 subtract 5, 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. And then now we have another subtraction problem, so let's change that to an addition of the opposite. So we're changing it to negative 4 plus a positive 2, and that gives us negative 2. And that does it for the first part of this review, and we'll see you next time.